Good afternoon, everyone. Today I am in the container garden space on our patio, and I noticed some scruffy looking plants earlier today when I was watering, and I'm just going to clean those up, and I thought I would bring you along. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. This geranium organum has been absolutely beautiful this whole season. This plant has old dead growth, probably from previous seasons, and that is why I prefer these little snips as opposed to the regular pruners that you might otherwise use. It gets into smaller spaces and allows me to do my more fine work and pull out things like this while still leaving the green areas of the plant intact. That's looking a little bit better, and I still got to preserve the flowers that were actually blooming still, so this will look nice on our patio again. These have a support post behind them because they were leaning a little bit when I got them. These were also a fire sale plant, and there's just some spent flowers. I have a cobweb on my finger. There's just some spent flowers that I'm going to take off so that the plant looks a little more tidy and lively. And always a good reminder when you're taking flowers from any plant really, you'll always want to look and see where there are new buds starting and not take it beneath that. You'll want the new buds to be able to bloom. So always make sure you're preserving those if you're just doing a deadheading pruning. These smell so good. Oh my gosh. I wish I could think of something to use these with, because they still smell really good. If you use your trimmed off echinacea, dried echinacea flowers for anything, let me know what you do with them, because they smell really good and I feel bad throwing them out, but I'm not sure what I can do with them. He is looking a lot happier now, and there are a ton of little buds just waiting to pop on him. So I don't know, we might get more during this season before the summer runs out. So he's looking good though. This is a white-edged princess lily. Many of these were a fire plant sale. Just kind of assume, unless I say otherwise, that they were from the fire plant sale. And this had some heat damage. I didn't want to prune him up immediately because I did transplant him to give him more room to grow. So I just left him as he was, and now that he's had some time and he's got all of this new growth, I don't know if you can see that, but all of the center growth is new. These have grown a lot taller than they did before, and they're looking really healthy. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely, there's that absolutely again. But now that he's had that time to adjust in his new pot, I went ahead and trimmed out some of the dead stuff. This electric lime coleus is so beautiful, and it's done pretty well. It's got some yellow leaves that have turned, but really not very many. And so I'm just gonna clean those up. And really the ones that are ready to come off just fall off in my hand. So I don't need my snips for that. And that one's not ready to come off, and I'll just leave him. He's doing pretty well, so I don't want to disturb him too much. I have been debating this whole summer whether or not to prune out the dead parts of this lobelia, because it does make it look a little bit scruffy. It looks a little scruffy with all of the dead flowers in it, but my goodness, they're just so small and tiny. I can't imagine trying to deadhead all of these, so I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm also going to leave this scarlet monkey flower alone for now. It's a lot happier than it was when I first got it, and I just want to let it have this opportunity to have all this new growth, and then maybe later I'll try and form it a little bit better because it has some scragglies like this. But these flowers, I don't know if you can see these. Let me try and get that. Oop. Can you see that? There we go. Those are so pretty. This is the Yarrow that is still trying to recover, but it has a lot of new growth down in the center. So I think I'm just going to give it a good trimming to allow this new growth some opportunity to thrive. and maybe get rid of some of this more brown heat damage growth. I'm also going to take this guy because he's just lopping over into the aisle, and that is not what I want from him, especially not in a pot. So let's just dive in here, see what we see. A lot of these don't have a whole lot of activity going on. So some of the stems will have some new growth in the junction, and this one actually does. It has one little bit of new growth, but nothing else is growing in any of the junctions. It doesn't have anything down low, so it's not really feeding the plant much. So I'd rather let these new growths in the center flourish than try and have the plant put in energy into keeping these sticks alive, you know? And this is why these are my preferred trimmers for jobs like this, because it gets into these delicate areas. I don't want to cut the fresh new growth that we have going on down here. And so it allows me to really get in there and snip off what needs to be snipped off and avoid what is fresh and new and very delicate and would be damaged by other larger pruners. All right, so this guy is looking a lot smaller. We'll pull out some of these brown leaves that aren't even attached to anything, but he's a lot happier. There's not as much brown. You can actually see some of the flowers that are popping out in this center new growth, and that will just give him all the energy to put into this new space and this new growth rather than trying to keep those old tired stems alive. I'm really happy with how he looks. I'm gonna stay in the shade for as long as possible. This Choreopsis has done pretty well. When I got it, it was nothing but heat damage, and I slowly but have revived it. It looks like it has some breakage, which is unfortunate, but the dogs cut back there. I don't know why. Maybe they like feeling like they're in a jungle, but they cut back there often, and this could have been broken as a result. So I'm just going to take that off so that it doesn't put energy into a broken limb. I suspect that our dogs are, yeah, see all these broken limbs? Yeah. That's what I suspect caused the issue, so maybe I'll put this one elsewhere. I also like to deadhead this guy. It just makes the plant look more kept, more well-maintained. It's totally fine to leave the spent blooms on. That's not an issue. I just prefer the look of something that's been cleaned up a little bit more. So that's what I'm going to do now. This looks so much better. I am so happy with this. And I saw while I was pruning a lot of new buds that are popping all over the plant, so it will be filled out with a bright yellow color soon enough. So I love this look. I'm really happy with it. Columbines come back and will self-seed each year. And my current set of columbines are all in pots, but I can't wait until I have some in the ground and I can see what they do. In the center, let me see if I can do it without damaging the plant. In the center right here, there is new growth, so it's doing better, and then off to the side it's got new growth as well. So it's doing better. I'm just going to prune up some of the dead parts. Our extension office sent out a email about handling plants in heat stress environments and situations, and they said not to take the leaves that have some crispiness to them. So leaves like this, I don't know if you can see that, but leaves like this where it has some fleshiness to the leaves, but there's crispy ends that are heat damage. you're not supposed to remove them until the plant is able to sustain itself on its other leaves. So leaving those leaves allows it to continue to do photosynthesis and exchange nutrients and things like that. So you want to leave those as much as possible. Some of these leaves are not completely viable, but things like that are, and so I'm just going to leave them and let the plant do its thing for this season, since it had so much stress earlier. A little bit better. Ooh. This coneflower, I got it and it was mostly just burnt leaves. Let me see if I can pop this up a little bit. So I got this coneflower and most of its leaves looked like this. And these are the types of leaves that extension office article is talking about. You don't want to take these leaves because it is providing an opportunity for photosynthesis and nutrient gathering for the plant, and so you just want to leave it kind of looking a little shabby, and it will grow back next year and look more beautiful. But for now, you want to leave it the opportunity to use those resources that it has. So I'm not going to take any of those leaves. I'm just going to take the completely brown ones that have cobwebs on them. I don't think it's using those, and I'll clean up some of the dead brown stems that we have in here. It doesn't need those. It's not using those, and they just make the plant look a little more tired and a little more sickly than it actually is. So taking those will help improve the look of it. I don't even need my clippers for this job. The brown stems aren't even attached really. They're just kind of hanging on there very, very loosely. So I just pop them off with my fingers, being very careful not to tear or damage the live portions of the plants. And then of course, as soon as I said that, I had to use my snippers because there was one that was a little more stuck than the rest. But for the most part, I'm just using my hands to get what is already dead and detached. And then I have several, I'm very excited, I have several little flowers that are popping. So I have all of these, and this is actually covered in a lot of buds for how damaged it was. I'm pretty excited that I get this many blooms for the year. That's exciting. This is a fuchsia that is struggling, clearly. It was given to me by a friend. It's got a lamb's ear in this pot. It's too much plant for such a little pot. But I'm gonna just clean it up for now, and then I will repot it later. But I'm gonna be very careful to make sure I don't take what is living. I want the plant to have that opportunity to grow back if it does. Columbines that are looking a little sad. So I'll just trim up this guy really quick. I might see if I can do it with my hands. A lot of these are just completely dead stems, and so they're not actually secured to the plant or in the ground, so you can just pop them right off. But you want to be careful, because if they are in fact alive, you can damage them by doing this. So only do this if you're comfortable with pruning plants by feel, and being able to tell if you can pop them off by hand or not, because otherwise you could do some damage. And again, I'll be leaving these crispified leaves just to give it the most opportunity possible for photosynthesizing and providing for itself. All right, both of these are looking a little bit better. So here I have over from the corner some English lavender with several spent flower heads that needs to be cleaned up, as well as a verbena that is a little worse for wear, but it's got some buds coming back, so I just want to clean it up a little bit. Some zinnia, creeping zinnia, and I just want to take off its dry flower petals go everywhere. It's like confetti. I just want to pop off the little spent flower heads so that it looks a little cleaner. And then another English lavender. Some people, I think, might find this task tedious. It's slow going, and there's methods to trimming off and deadheading that are a little quicker. You know, you can just wait till the whole plant is spent and trim it off all at one height. My preference, for the most part, is to not do that because it doesn't give a lot of variation in size within the individual plant itself, which I always love. And it doesn't give me the opportunity to just take a quiet moment. I really do enjoy this type of work because I'm quiet. I'm enjoying just being outside. I'm enjoying listening to the wind and the sprinklers running and just the birds and all those moments. And I wouldn't want to rush this. So if I can be out here longer to do this work, I am all for it. So I don't mind taking my time, going slow, and just doing each little individual flower head. Our cat just climbed the screen. She has been stuck indoors because we finally got her into the vet and for her leg that had been injured, and they couldn't find anything wrong, so they suspected another cat bit her. We cannot make her an indoor cat. She would be miserable. She came as a feral kitty, and she does have outdoor privileges, but we do have other feral cats around here, and she's pretty territorial. So they suspect that it was a cat bite of some sort, and so she got antibiotics, and she's stuck inside until the antibiotics work and her leg is 100% better. And she is being a little pill while she's stuck inside. So we're all suffering. She spends the nights roaming around the very small space of our house. Ooh, uh-oh, sorry. Roaming around the very small space of our house, yowling and complaining. So, I think we're all paying for that at the moment. I think that's looking pretty good. Look at that. I got some dirt on me. It's never gardening unless you walk away with some dirt on your clothes. But yeah, so Mooms is stuck inside right now because she's a naughty kitty who has an injury, and we want to make sure she's in tip-top shape when she goes out. So she's indoors. The other three cats are all indoor cats just 100% of the time. They were raised indoor cats, and so we are able to maintain that for them. Mooms, like I said, came to us as a stray, so she's an outdoor cat. And she is actually very helpful. She keeps the local mouse population down. Unfortunately, her favorite place to do so is on our patio, so she brings back all of her prizes to our patio space, and we get to find that. It's part of the rural living, and I do appreciate that she's helping with the mouse population. We don't do any control ourselves. I prefer to let nature do that, but she is helping with the mouse population, as is our dog. Ironically, our dog has turned into a mouser. No idea why. She just started this summer and decided she is a mouser, so she's a mouser. So now we're finding oodles of dead mice because she doesn't eat them. Neither does Mooms anymore. She has stopped eating them. She's an indoor cat when it comes to food, but an outdoor cat when it comes to hunting. And so now she just leaves them for us to find. She leaves her little treasures for us to find all over the place, which isn't my favorite thing about the situation, but it is what it is. It's just part of life. It's the circle of life. All right, I'm doing lazy pruning on this zinnia. I'm basically just popping off the spent heads, but not actually cutting the stalk. I just don't want to take that amount of time. It's very finite work, and it's after work. I already spent my day doing my 9-to-5 job, and sometimes I don't want to do like really small work. I don't mind slow work, but really small work is just another ball game, so I will do good enough work on that. And again, with the verbena, I am just being careful because I can see new little flower heads that have started to form. I don't want to cut those off, so I'm being very careful not to disturb those when I'm trimming off the spent flower heads. Again, can't recommend these small little snips enough. I have several pairs from different brands, so I don't think a particular brand is that important. You find something that works for you and go for it. Or you find something that's on sale, because it gets expensive to buy these. We've bought a couple packets from Costco, and I appreciate those, but they're still a lot of money, you know, when you're talking about buying it multiple times. So I finally broke down and just this year figured out how to like sharpen my own snips. And because it used to be that I would wait for my husband to do it on like a big old sharpener thing, like the same sharpener we sharpen our mower blades on, and I would be waiting for a really long time because he has a lot of projects going on. And I decided, you know, I need some self-sufficiency in this area, so I bought a little tiny sharpener and learned how to sharpen it. I actually got the motivation to do so from the Garden Answer channel. I watch her a lot and I'm really motivated by her, and she has a pretty simple format that makes me feel confident in my ability to do a lot of the tasks that she does. You know, she gave me the confidence to transplant things, which prior to watching her, I never would have probably tried to transplant 20, maybe 30-year-old Nandina that were in the front of our house. But after watching her, I really did get that burst of confidence. I was like, okay, she can do it, I can do it. And, oh, why'd you come off? That's sad. And I did it, and they're happy. They are doing really, really well. I thought I had killed 2 of them because they completely died back, lost all their leaves, and then they just popped right back, and we have 6 fully leafed out Nandina that are doing really well, and that was just because I needed the confidence to do that. So I hope you on your journey are finding the confidence to do things like that, because it's important. It's important to try and learn what's useful and what's helpful and what you're capable of. That's really important, I think, in gardening and just in life. This dianthus, if you watched my patio container garden tour, has just been beautiful this whole season, but I have been deadheading it. I've been trimming off all of the old spent blooms so that it looks more vibrant and fresh. So I'm just going to do that now. It's always nice when you don't have a whole lot on your plant that's doing pretty well all on its own. But I think that will about wrap it up for trimming up the container plants. I have some pruning that I need to do out in the garden space. Clearly, if you've seen my garden haul video, I need to do the actual vegetable garden as well, but I was referencing more to the plants that were put in the ground this spring. I have some dahlias that need to be deadheaded and just cleaned up a little bit, so I might go do that. Thank you for joining me on my little chores of cleaning up the container garden, and I hope to see you in my next video. Have a good evening. Mooms! No! Our cat just climbed the screen.